Hello and welcome to Game Gumbo. Today we're unboxing New Frontiers by Rio Grande Games. This is a game for 2 to 4 players that plays in 45 to 75 minutes. So I'm pretty excited for this game personally because it's a civilization game in the same world as Race for the Galaxy and Roll for the Galaxy. And those are both games that I really enjoy. This is sort of their larger board game version of those two games, because of course Roll for the Galaxy is kind of a dice game and Race for the Galaxy is basically a card game. Here's our rule book. So if you know anything about those two games, a lot of this will be similar to you. You will be going out and colonizing planets, either peacefully or forcefully, and generating goods on those planets to sell for money so that you can go out and colonize more planets. At the same time, you can build public works or engineering buildings that will give you different special powers. The game ends in a couple of different ways. When you run out of certain tokens or people have colonized enough planets. We've got a quite large cloth bag here that's going to be for our planetary tiles. We've got bags of wooden bits here. So we have some discs. Those are just going to be different player trackers to track either player order or victory points, I believe. And then we have these little meeples that are, again, if you've played Roll for the Galaxy, you've seen these meeples before. These are the colonists. These are people you're going to be sending out to settle the planets. And that's actually one of the in-game triggers, is that if you run out of these, the game will end. We've got some very big, chunky cubes. And these are just the resources that you'll produce during the game. So you produce a resource on a blue planet, you'll put one of these blue cubes there to denote it. And then obviously we've got green, we've got brown, and we've got yellow. They are actually different sizes, which I didn't realize at first. They get progressively smaller based on how much they're worth. So the brown goods are the cheapest goods in the game. So they are the smallest cubes. And then the yellow goods, which are alien goods, I believe, are the biggest cubes in the game because they're worth the most money, which is kind of interesting. And no, that's not all of it. I guess they just decided to hide it underneath the organizer here, because here is all, I can't even lift it, is all the punch board that we have. Really nice that they add these little finger wells in here, because this is going to be fun to get out. All right, that's half. Let's go for the other half. All right, and let's get some of this out of the way. Okay, so here's all our cardboard, and there is quite a bit of it. So we've got some boards here. I believe this is just where you put the different engineering projects. So there are different level of engineering projects, but the most complicated ones cost 9, which is a lot in this game. So there's a board specifically for the 8 level 9 ones. They're also unique. So a board for that. We've got just our generic board for our different engineering things. So these will be tiles that'll just sit here that you can grab when you build them. We've got Punchboard. Some of it for planets. Planets are circular. And then we've got our engineering ones, which are different sizes, but all relatively share the same shape. So here's one of our sort of our in-game ones where you're creating, this is the military one, you're creating a new galactic order. Looks very Battlestar Galactica. And then we have our planets. So when you acquire planets, they will be on the gray side, and they tell you essentially how many people you need there. And here's your little people icons, keeping track of that. How many settlers you need in order to flip this over. So once you have settlers on here, for this one 2, and for this one 1, you're going to flip them over. And now they're active. They have little special abilities, which you can see here at the bottom. And then based on what color they are, that's also the resource they generate when you produce resources. So I'm not going to punch out all of this because there's quite a bit of it. We got some different boards here. This board literally just holds all of the meeples. That's all it's for. We got some tokens for credits. Looks like this is just a reminder of how the different worlds work. We got turn order board here, a couple different things. So these are the player boards. So it looks like we got one each for the player boards. So you can decide what player board you want because all of these starting planets are going to be different, or you can just assign them out randomly. You've got spots here where the circular planet tokens will go. Again, that's another one of the in-game triggers. If somebody essentially fills up all their locations, looks like that's 8 planets, then that will be an in-game trigger. Also, this is where all your engineering projects will go, and that's another in-game trigger. If somebody fills up all of their red spots, the game will end after one more round. However, to fill up red spots, you have to have nowhere else to put it, basically. And then you have your starting planet. And again, they're all a little bit different. So this one gives you extra money when you develop. Let's see what else we got. More planet boards. Here's another starting board. This one is when you settle, you can remove 1 rare elements good for +2 military. So if you're going a military route, that's something to consider. Military allows you to basically colonize a planet without paying for it. Otherwise, you have to pay for a planet. And you don't spend military, you just have it. So it's one of the play styles that's available in the game. We got more punchboard, more planets. Here are our action tiles. So I'm going to start collecting these so we can talk about these. There's one of them. There's another one. We got more starting planets here. This one, consume 2 goods, get you 3 VP. So one of the things you can do is you can create goods and put them on a planet. And you can also consume goods. When you consume goods, you either are going to gain money based off the type of good, or you can get VP. Here's more of our action tiles. Let's grab the rest of those. Ooh, even more cardboard. We're almost there. All right, it looks like that's it. So these action tiles are a big part of the game. That's basically what it is. It's action selection game. And on your turn, you're going to choose one of these tiles to activate, and then that tile is basically going to slide down to show that it has been activated, and nobody else can activate it for that round. So it's one of those systems where somebody takes an action, but everybody else follows behind them. Except that the person who selects the action gets a bonus. So for instance, this one, you can send diplomatic envoys. This one gives you first player token, and as well as a victory point. That's what the hex icons mean. This one allows you to sell goods for either points or money. And also, if you are the person who selected, you get an extra point. This one lets you develop buildings If you are the person who selects it, you get -1 to the cost. Producing goods on planets. Settling, which gives you your little meeples. And again, if you select this, you get the bonus, which is an extra person. This one you can either gain 2 people or technically gain 3 if you're taking the action, or you can put your people on a planet. Explore lets you draw planets from the bag and keep one, or keep a second, but that's after everybody else selects. So say you're playing with 5 players, you're going to draw 7 planets, and then the person who activated the Explore action is going to take one, and then it'll go around the table. There'll be 2 left over, and the person who activated Explore gets to select a second one of whatever's left. And that's it. So those are the actions in the game. And is essentially what you'll be doing on your turn in order to settle planets, build engineering projects, and ultimately score points and be the largest galactic empire out there. And that is everything for New Frontiers from Rio Grande Games.